Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Nicole. Scorpio, this is your weekly read, July 7th through the 14th. What else? Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing. If you're coming back, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Nicole. Scorpio, we're going to get straight to it. I went to pick up a deck of cards because I was like, what am I using today, right? And when I went to pick them up, they fell. Look what was laying right there. Scorpio's card, the Death card, and what was underneath the deck, the Six of Pentacles. So Scorpio, whatever you've been giving to is getting ready to give back. So whatever you've invested in, it's coming. The generosity, the Chariot, literally the Ace of Cups behind that Six of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. Healing heartbreak. This can be revelation around the relationships that you have with all people. And I continue to see a little bit of a theme with that coming up for you. Last week's read, the weekend read, the side message from Spirit, like it's become, it's not redundant, but it's like it's just as the Six of Pentacles can be, in my opinion, a bit breadcrumby. It's giving you, thank you, Spirit, a little bit of information at a time, right? There's like little showers of blessings with the breadcrumbs there. And then you even look at the Ace of Cups, like it's an overflowing, right? So it's trickling out the sides. But you think about it too, is like, I think that part of it for you, Scorpio, for a long time has been the trickling of the rain. We'll call it, with the Three of Swords, the rain in the background, and the Ten of Wands and the Four of Cups. A whole lot of disappointment, right? And I think that maybe as things were coming, this kind of feels like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and you're so used to a certain way of what trickles out that it's like, I'm waiting for something ridiculous to happen, right? Like it's that feel. Shakeups are abound, Spirit is saying, as I address that, but there is balance being restored to a situation. Be the calm, be the peace, Scorpio. And I think you're just kind of ready to get out of Dodge. Like the Seven of Swords, the Death card there, what's behind that? The Magician. Some of you could have manifested a way out of something. Judgment with that, the number 20 with the addition of those numbers. So, making a decision, making, a final point of agreement as to where the parties are going is what I'm hearing as well, where the parties are going. So that could have some kind of significance. I don't think ever before the Spirit that is looking at me and telling me, when I look at this card, they're telling me to look at that card, the sun setting in the background, but that particular individual in that yellow coat, they're telling me Hierophant energy, Hierophant, spiritual revelation, spiritual awareness, spiritual awakening and enlightenment this week, Scorpio. You could be becoming attuned to if you struggled with tradition, it's funny because you think about the Hierophant, it's traditional, right? Traditional being. I feel like a lot of you are breaking a tradition. When we talk about that spiritual enlightenment or awakening that may be occurring, Scorpio, it's an internal revelation, for one. But two, this is a breaking of karmic contracts that could be family lineage, traditional family, or, what was perceived as to be traditional, right? Blood family or things like that. There is something that you and potentially a sister or sibling, maybe a passed over parent or grandparent, we're always kind of I'm hearing blindsided by. So this could be you, Scorpio, looking at a parent in your life, a parental figure, and watching, boy, this is wild, watching this person in your life run amok, and then watching all these other people in your life as an adult run shit amok. It could be triggering some soul existence. It's like something within your gut could be churning at this time, going, wow, this is a lot to chew upon, right? This is a lot of resolution within oneself, that this is finally coming to an end. And it's happened in such a very odd way. It's like manifested when you work on manifestations, right, Scorps, like you see it as, gee, I'd like that car, right? Or gee, I hope that one day me and my father get along, right? Or he sees the error of his ways, or whatever it might be. The way that you get to it, it's like, oh, maybe they'll have that one moment and we'll sit at the, at the table and we'll have a discussion over coffee, and then they'll just understand one day how I feel about X, Y, and Z. Scorpio, the things that have had to happen for you, not for them, for you to understand the importance of who you are, is not how you manifested or imagined or dreamed of whatever this is to be. This wasn't even for them, Scorps. It was for you. It was for you to learn, unlearn. I seen in the comments this morning, and Spirit's actually pointing this out, someone had mentioned about hugging a black sheep or something to that effect. And I remember saying that word, might have been in the spiritual message yesterday. And Scorpio, the black sheeps of the family were never meant to be a part of something, right? They weren't, they were very different to begin with, right? Maybe you were the dreamer and everybody else was like, that's not realistic. You can't be a millionaire off of selling, pogs, right? You remember pogs? Like, I don't know, that's something for somebody out there because that's so random. But somebody became a billionaire probably on pogs, right? And they came and they went. They were a fad, but they still did it, right? That's part of their legacy. I don't know, Scorpio. It's as if someone just, you are very different, right? And everyone else or someone is like, this is just the way that it is. This is how we behave. This is what we do. This is how, excuse me, how we love. This is how we take insecurities. And the thing that I keep seeing here, Scorpio, this week is I don't feel like at this moment in this reading, all intuitive here, that this pertains to this week in the sense of how things are happening, right? Spirit's going, this isn't so much an actioning of this week, but the internal epiphanies that are beginning to take form in the ethers, if you will, for your spiritual transformation. I hope that's making sense. Scorpio, I would look to the people in which you have dealt with in the past 7 to 12 weeks. Who do they remind you of? There's some linkage to a person or a situation, Scorpio, that you have been very tied to probably all of your life. That may have been the one place in your life where you were seeking acceptance. And realizing that this start or the end of this new phase in your life does not mean that breadcrumbs are acceptable. The work that you've put in twofold, Scorpio, whatever it was that you've been working on within yourself, it's going to start to pay dividends, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. But not only in the physical form, but on the spiritual side of things. The things that you have actually manifested and desired and asked for and wanted or dreamt up or believed in. Those things are truly going to start to take shape. You could feel like everything from the beginning of time for you has been one failure after another, one big fucking letdown after another, and going, well, shit. Like, now what? It's funny, Spirit is saying part of the breadcrumbs that you think were breadcrumbs are the things that you've invested in yourself over the years on and off, Scorpio. Because it's likely you've got pulled in and out of certain things for yourself that were important to you over the years. That's what you're being called back to. And being called back to something, and here we are, Mercury retrograde, pre-shadow, and all the retrogrades that are happening here at the end of the summer. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You're reviewing, right? Anything that goes retrograde is a review. We're going back in time to look over some things. We're sifting through and going, where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? And not even, so thank you, Spirit, corrected. Stand corrected. Not so much of what was right and wrong, Scorpio, but what worked and what didn't work. And then understanding 1010, why and or how. And as that as that closure happens, where does this new beginning begin? How do you pick up where you've left off on something? Spirit, thank you. For yourself. Understand, Scorpio, this is not about somebody else. The lessons required another person's part, or many people. Spirit's showing me a lot of people's parts for you to get the big picture. But the end result is not about them. It's about your growth as you. I hope that's making sense. So with that, let's get to the cards and see what else comes out. Scorpio, like, share, subscribe, comment. You guys showing up here, I love each and every single one of you. Thank you for all the ways that you support me. Personal reads are open. I've got a ton of emails to answer. I'm going to work on some things this week, God willing, and hopefully have some things here in the future for you all. Things are changing in my life rapidly, as always, right? Would we expect anything less? No. So we'll stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. So good stuff there. So yeah, anyone who's requested appointments, we'll get you in this week. I'll expect an email from me. I came home Saturday, right? I came home Saturday, and the kittens were clearly up on the table. My cards were everywhere on the table, though. And I looked down under the table, and there was a card. There was a tarot card under the table, and it was from my, I can't remember the name of this deck, but that's the deck. Can't think of it right now. Years ago, I had a deck like this, same thing. And we had a business, and a squirrel got in and literally pissed on the Ten of Swords. I kid you not. A squirrel pissed on the Ten of Swords and left a vast array of distraction in circles and then hid in a box. So it was great. Here we are in the middle of the night, like a bunch of crazy bandits driving a squirrel down the road to get rid of it in a box. Like midnight insanity, straight insanity. But there you go. That's the life of a Scorpio right there. 12:21 on the clock. Nonsense. But I came home, and I know that the Hangman has showed up a couple of times in some of the reads. I don't know if I've mentioned it out loud, but I've also noticed in other things the Hangman has popped up. Pisces energy, which is that is in the North Node at this time. And when I come home and I flipped over the card, you can see what the card looks like. I mean, they went to town. That was a good card. I come home and realized that it was the Hangman in the reverse, pretty chewed up. They did a number on this particular card. And I think back to the time frame. Look at that. I just cut the deck just to see what was in there. The Hierophant, talking about that Taurus energy the other day to you guys as well. When I think back to the point in time in which the Ten of Swords had been pissed on by the squirrel, bless its heart, the things that would shortly transpire thereafter, and they were work related, Scorpio. And I'm going to tell you that your work may be at the forefront here as something coming to a close. Pisces energy, Hangman in the reverse, chewed up, spit up, washed up. Over it, like just over it. This is a distraction that has been something for something. It's a crossroads. It's not really a distraction, but a crossroads of something. And now understanding that if I stay here, I'm losing my footing. I'm losing my footing. So I don't know what you're going through right now at this time that has made you feel like you've lost some footing, because I see this as him like trying to, it's like a unicycle, right? You got to keep pedaling. You got to stay on top of the wheel. It's like a rat, right? Keeping the wheel going. 14:14 on the clock, Scorpio. You could feel like you have been the one trying to keep a wheel moving forward in something specifically, and you're losing your footing, you're losing your grounding. And I remember talking to you all last week, mentioning my prior situation, which ironically enough was about the time that the squirrel pissed on everything, and saying about bringing that partner forward, trying to help other people, right? Instead of helping yourself. Scorpio, do not be in a place right now where you are doing more for others than you are doing for yourself. Self-love, self-care, that Ace of Cups, right, that comes with what I showed you earlier, is a necessary part of this movement forward. Spirit is telling me to hang on to that Hierophant, that's Taurus energy. That's, I mean, it's Pope, right? It's like, it is the spiritual leader. It is the masculine spiritual leader of learning. It's a big deal, right? This is, I would say to you too, this week, you could be working with crystals. Black, Spirit's using the term black dots. Some of you could almost be cloaking yourself, but there's something very, very prudent about black this week, Scorpio. Maybe you're wearing a lot of black. Maybe you're mourning something. You could be, more than anything, Scorpio, I feel you kind of cloaking and shadowing, like kind of putting up the barrier. It's like, you know, when a hunter goes hunting, he puts up his blind to keep the deer from seeing him. Scorpio, it's like you are, I don't want to call it hermiting. You're going in to sit with what you've come to know for yourself. It really doesn't have to do with anybody else as far as what you're learning. I mean, you could have actualizations or reality hit about certain people or why they're doing what they're doing or why they've done what they've done. But at the end of the day, it is about you learning more about you. When we talk about that distraction, Scorpio, it's like, where do you have control, Hierophant, in your own life? What are you doing this week to regain that sense of control if you felt like you were, you know, on a tightrope walking? It's been difficult. Handle it with grace. Handle it with honor. What you're learning about yourself is a different level of a softer side of you. You could have gone through life in this, you know, we've talked about it before, Scorpio, very fuck it, over it, done with it, and nothing wrong with that. But Scorpio, there's a new level to the fuck it's. It's almost like you're seeing other people now through this very softened lens where you may have taken things personally in the past or gone, oh, seen that, done that. We're not even going to talk. I'm not even going to give premise to that. Or seeing yourself almost as a victim in situations and going, well, fuck this. Like I'm just done. And it's not that you're not done, but the way in which you are inputting boundaries, like you've learned what boundaries are, but now you're learning the different types of boundaries. It's like this situation calls for this, and this situation calls for that, and this situation really is a too bad tough shit. You're learning the different boundaries, Scorpio, and I think dealing with a traditional masculine energy, male, female, them, they, does not matter. You're learning a new way. Some of you, there could be some tears shed this week. I don't think it's out of disappointment. It's almost out of this idea of, now what do I do with that? It creates a little bit of confusion and worry because it leaves you in a bit of a vulnerable state in a sense, right? It's like, ooh, these things could do X, Y, and Z to me maybe. But that is also an old way of thinking and being, Scorpio, that other things would just come in and fuck you up. Literally, I pick up this deck to shuffle it. The Self and the Cave, Scorpio. You're going in to nurture your own soul right now. You're shape-shifting. And I said, the hunter, when he hunts, he puts up his blinds and look what's there, the hunter. You know that it's time to go within. This mentoring that you're doing is of oneself. You could be reaching out to people like myself, a therapist, a good friend, Spirit, even to God. I need a confessional here. I need a moment to understand why I keep running into these situations that are like fucking briar bushes with people. It's like a firefighter, right? He's chilled out and not necessarily doing anything, and I don't know the firefighter world, but I do from the outside perspective here. Until that alarm goes off, then he jumps in to rescue. Scorpio, what are you doing in between the times that nobody needs rescuing? And why are you jumping into the fire for someone else? What is that about? Where does that come from? Were you a, Spirit. Were you a side piece to other people's problems until they needed you, and then they say, hey, I need you to here, jump in. So it's almost like you've been trained, Scorpio, you've been trained to jump in on someone else's behalf. Man down, jump in. So what'd you do? Sit on the sidelines until someone said, hey, I'm ready for you. Tag you in, it's your turn. I can't take the heat that I've brought upon myself. It's an interesting dynamic, Scorps. Very interesting dynamic. The Pilgrim. Scorpio, there are people here that they're coming in to settle. And I said about that 20 specifically. Look at the number on that card. XX, that's 20 in Roman numerals. They're coming in to settle some scores. Some people, literally the maiden and the offering. There are genuine people who want to give you more, but they're also looking to you to provide them more. And you have to make sure that Six of Pentacles, Scorpio, this week, that what is being asked of you, or asked, if I could say it right, of you is in balance with what you're capable or wanting to do or what you're deserving of. It's funny that I look at this maiden and she's actually got her breast covered. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is you can no longer suckle off of me. You can no longer feast here. They're offering flowers, maybe, as on the card, as seen on the card, right? But what I think is interesting about these two hands that are coming from you, Scorpio, the hand is not extended out to go, hey, give me your hand, let me take it. It's just already closed and going, I don't think I can, I feel this energy of, I don't know that I can open my hand to give anymore. There's something very specific to the hands, Scorpio. And it's really, Spirit is saying it's about the workings of the hands. So again, I get this feeling around your work, which could lead into family, which could lead into lessons around your internal self, right? They're all layered. They're all very heavily layered into one another. You think about it, if we stayed at home with our family, we would never have an experience outside of that, right? So to go out to work and meet new people and do things means we have these external experiences. So those do help to shape our lives. And Scorpio, you're a worker, right? You like to do and be going. Very fiery of Scorpio, but still very Scorpio. You have to go have these external experiences so that you can learn and unravel and transmute and transform things. Okay, so I do think that whatever is happening this week, you would typically, I just feel this hesitancy as someone's going, hey, Scorpio, and you're like, if I do this, it's begrudging, and it's begrudging of myself that I would give that. I don't know if I can. You're really thinking hard about what is happening. High Priestess of Water, there's that emotion, Scorpio, that is you, that is your card in this deck. Oh my, Strength coming out sideways. And I was literally just thinking, as I showed you the maiden, the number on that card is 8, and I thought, gee, that's sideways. And what comes out here sideways, the Strength card, which is that of an 8, 35, 8. So 8 and 35 could be important. You could jump 8 years past 35, so what is that, 43 could be of significance, right? Yeah, 43. 39, 43 are significant numbers. 20 is a significant number. 8 is a significant number here. 74 is a significant number here. Scorpio, you're just tired. Tired of the same old, same old. You know, I think you're also feeling other people's emotions right now, is what I said. You're kind of like going into yourself, the invisible. It's like getting away from people, places, and things. It's almost like you may have a premonition or an awareness, intuitive download, Scorpio, that you know that there's going to be a lot of words coming at you, or a lot of information this week coming to you. People around you may have a lot to say. There may be a lot to do. You may need to take on a lot of things, and it's kind of like you're in this place of a little bit of exhaustion. I need to think about what I need now, right? Scorpio needs to know what Scorpio needs. And it's funny. I don't think you're emotionally devastated as you have been in the past, where it's like, I can't live like this kind of thing. But I do think that there's a disappointment that has come in with even your own toxic ways, your own shadow side, Scorpio, that as you've engaged, so this is like giving too much. It's like, see it as, someone says, hey, can I borrow $50? And you're like, well, I only have, I have $60 and I need that other 10. And they're like, well, Scorpio, blah, 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 blah. And you finally give in and you give them the 50. And then 2 weeks later, you realize you're the one that's hurting. And you're like, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Spirit's telling me to tell you that it might take maybe 2 weeks. So if there's a disappointment around something, it might take 2 weeks to kind of like get your footing again. But you will be fine. This may feel, it's weird. It's like, not that it doesn't feel bad. But again, it's not hitting you the way that you're used to. I think before it was very dramatic and very debilitating. This time you're just in a much more calm space of going, well, shit, here we are. Now what? But that Strength card this time comes out in the reverse, or in the upright, I'm sorry. Rather than in the reverse. So give yourself grace at this time. The obedience is hoping that things... Scorpio, make sure you're not looking at something in a narrow focus and going, this is the only way that this can be done. Be open to possibilities and potentials. You may have already made up your mind on something. Again, that hand being closed. You've already made up your mind going, well, I just don't know. Choices coming out. And literally landing between that particular Strength card and the offering, touching both of those. You're trying to find a calm space for yourself to recognize whether or not this is what you need to do or should do. And I think that if you do this, for some of you, you're going to repeat a cycle that is ultimately trying to close out. And I think that this is a lesson in your empathy towards others as well. How not to be so Taurus-y, Scorpio. You think about Taurus. Taurus takes the bull by the horns, right? Very stubborn energy. You too, though. Fixed sign, stubborn energy. Leo, Aquarius, same thing. If this isn't you, Scorpio, this is you learning how to, or you or whoever this might be, which I truly think that it's you, learning to find this beauty and grace in respecting differences of opinion, as the differences card comes out sideways, so apples and oranges, right? Can't compare them. Taking out this rigid stance that you may have had in the past, and realizing that sometimes just to say no is where the success lies. The cycles, I said you might repeat a cycle, to shut it down. Shut that old cycle down, because then good things are coming. This is a clear truth within oneself and a promise to oneself, to your own foundations and your own personal wish fulfillment. And, you've denied yourself that right for now for so long. You've denied yourself the sweetness of life. Don't see this as a glass half empty, Scorpio. See this as a glass half full. May not be the ideal situation. May not be exactly what you wanted to have happen, but it's still where you are this week. Anytime, right? Anytime we invest into anything, jobs, relationships, friends, even home projects, right? It's like, I think it's fair to say, we can all make a joke, like if you've ever owned your own home or had your own shit and you've had to like do a project and you're like, oh, this will be an easy, quick fix, $5, one trip to Home Depot, Next thing you know, you're 10 trips deep, you're $500 deep, and the guy at Home Depot is like, oh, back again, must be going well, you know, like it's that kind of feel. I think you thought it was going to be a different experience than what it is. Whatever this situation is for you, it's very situational, Spirit is saying. But they're asking you to take a deeper look on a spiritual level, out of the traditional norm of all of the things, and understand your personal why of what Spirit was trying to show you. And it wasn't going to be the way we humans think that it should be. It looks quite a bit different. And that's okay, Scorpio. It's okay. It's an interesting way of letting things transpire. I think for you, sometimes it's like, it's easier to just not engage with other people. If you stay in your bubble, right, there ain't nobody coming in there. Your boundaries at that point, Scorps, are ironclad. Like, ain't nobody allowed. It is locked up, sealed up, tight, and thrown away the key. But when you have to let other people in, or you choose to deal with other people, your ability to control the situation becomes a lot less. It's like watching a percentage decline. If I deal with this person, I only have 90% control. If I deal with that person, I now only have 80%. If I bring in another person, I now have 70%. It's like every time you include something or someone else, you recognize that you don't have ultimate control. And that could be a part of this lesson too, is letting go of control. Trusting as things come. You know, it could be part of this big experience for you as well. And that's okay too, Scorps. All right, advice here for Scorpio this week, Spirit, as we are half an hour in. Temple of Mary. Mary Magdalene could be very important to you. 31, so another 4 here. I've seen 4s here for you quite a few times. I got 1, 2, seen it earlier too, but it went back into the deck. And then 31 is a 4. So it says emotional expression, playful innocence, exploitation. You're cutting off supply. You know, if you've got a parasite that you're dealing with, Scorps, you're cutting off the supply. There's that breast, as I talked about, and look at that, she's covering her breast. This is maybe shutting down vulnerability. Some of you on, oh boy, feminines, right? Or those that identify in the physical form of the feminine energy. There may, and you know, we look at the big cases going on right now. It may almost make you feel like you're taking a hit to some level of confidence, and also pertaining to the breasts themselves. So maybe you've had breast augmentation, maybe you've lost a breast, unfortunately, to cancers or something, and if you have, prayers and love and blessings to you. Maybe you have been violated in some way, exploited in some way, recognizing how the world itself can exploit you as a woman, right? And I'm not getting into the feminine or feminist stuff, but because there's balance, there needs to be balance in everything. But just realizing that what lives behind, you think about what lives behind the breast, it's the heart. Even male, right? Even if you're in your divine masculine energy, right? Chest. A lot to do with the chest here right now. It's protection. I've held this space of myself for so long. How do I open that back up after it's been hurt, lied to, exploited, damaged? However you perceive it to be. I just want to be open to discovery, right? You think about it as when we're children, we discover that we have toes. There's a curiosity about what those toes do for us when we can reach our toes. When we're preteens, right, and our bodies are starting to become into the adult form, and we're, growing body parts. I don't know what else to say. We start to like wonder and be more specific to oneself, our sexual expression as well. When I think about the breast and how puberty changes our bodies, right? There's a sexual expression that we realize there's more to us than just these bodies that we live in, or these bodies that function. Like, what does this do? What is that for? And how does this connect? And why that? And how life is created? And all the birds and the bees, right? Some of you could be diving into celibacy, as Mary Magdalene has herself crossed off. You think about Mary Mags, like the stories that were written about her, who she was supposed to be, who some people believed her to be, who she actually was versus who she wasn't. I feel a lot of people, maybe even here on YouTube, like I trust that I have a direct connection to Mary Magdalene. It's very interesting for me. In some of my most trying times, she has been the one to come to me. I think with her too, and I'm going to share this with all of you, 35:53 on the clock. I've always said I can sit with the sinners and I can sit with the saints. I've sat with very prominent people, and I've sat with people that were homeless. And my advice to both sides of that are always the same. Nobody is better than another. We all sin, if that's the way we want to put it. And we all do great things in our own way. But it's what we do with that internally that matters the most. And so this energy of nurturing is like knowing when you've nurtured enough. It's like, thinking about your children, like when we know that we have fed them enough. We have supplied them with enough to go, okay, I can no longer enable. It's an enabling. I can no longer enable you to violate me. Big statement. I can no longer enable you to violate me. Here's my boundary. I am cutting off the supply because I need my supply. I need me. Big message. The power of your presence, Scorpio, has made life-altering changes for somebody. I want you to know that per spirit. Look, this cosmic gateway is an 8. Triple 8s here is also what spirit is showing me. Insecurities, connections with others, and now it's time to refocus. In language of light, rediscovery, humble wanderer, communication. Scorpio, there is going to be key communication coming in for you in the next, during the course of this week. 9, it's an ending. This week, I think, is going to bring a lot of powerful endings. It could be power struggles. You stay in grace. You stay in your honest, authentic truth this week. And that's going to change the direction of your life. Without a doubt. This love, again, she's supporting herself. She's hugging herself. You see that? Your spirit guides are behind you. They're with you. As you make these determinations this week for yourself, I just heard, God bless you, my warrior child. I got the chills. That's a confirmation. You are much more of a warrior than you give yourself credit for, but you are the power of presence, Scorpio. Your presence is powerful. Unfortunately, in a way, sometimes your position in that is not as you would like it to be. It would be like, I want to come in as like a pure perfection to teach, rather than be having to do certain things. And it's like, I don't think that you never knew you were to do certain things. You were playing a role in that matrix, right? For once, you were a supportive role as a catalyst experience for somebody. And you are seeing yourself that way rather than the starring role as Scorpio. So, it's a very different experience, Scorpio. Your emotions, I think, this week for oneself is going to run deep. Be open to that. Trust in that experience, Spirit is saying. The Cosmic Gateway and the Crystal Kingdom, Scorpio, slowing down materialism and psychic debris. the Wheel of Dharma, karmic lessons, peer pressure, and moral codes. Stay true to oneself here. And then the Violet Fire, which is another 8. Transmutation, detoxification, psychic vision, and constant distraction. You're learning to let those things go. The color purple could be of great significance for you this week. Allow yourself to stand in the light. Do not sit in a place of sorrow as this new life is created and old life is left behind. There will always be people who want to distract you. They may be back there peering, but there's something about the sight in which you have to face forward. Remain optimistic, stay neutral in all things. If people are trying to pull you into drama or issues, it's like being your own PR rep, Scorpio. How would you like your statement to be read? Have great PR stance in anything that comes up. All right. I'm leaving it there, Scorpio. This is a hell of a message for you this week, but I think in the coming weeks, there will be beauty that shines through it. So do know that. It's just for now. I'm sending you all so much love. Take care of yourselves. Personal reads are open and available. That information can be found in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page. I will say this. I am happy to be home here with you. So thank you for all the ways you support me. Have a wonderful week. I will see you soon, Scorpio. Take care. Bye-bye.